Hi, I'm Courtney Larson. Welcome to Sullivan 180 Presents Take 5. Our guests today are Carolyn Baillie and Eric Feinblatt from Standing People Together, who run what they call a forest exploratorium in our local area. Welcome, Carolyn and Eric. Thanks for being here.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
inviting us.
Yeah, of course. Can you introduce yourselves and tell us a bit about the Forest Exploratorium and Forest School on which it is based?
We fell in love with this pedagogical approach, uh, getting kids back into nature, called Forest School. When our child was very young, we were at the time in Australia and we were going back to my home country, England, for a few months. And somebody said, "You should enroll him in Forest School." And we said, "What's that?" Um, Zoom forward, and we are now trained as forest school leaders, and we've been running forest school in Australia and here for some time, and just fell in love with the idea of kids being outside in nature, learning how to connect with nature. But there's a lot of different features of it that we can talk about that are very special. And we now focus on helping schools learn how to connect kids with nature through the forest school approach.
And just additional background, both Caroline and I have been involved in educational development at the university level. Caroline in different positions that she's had, and me at Fashion Institute of Technology in New York. And both of us have worked with faculty, helping them develop better pedagogical practices.
What can Forest School do for physical and mental health?
So one of the things that really intrigued me was how kids just changed behavior, attitude, motivation, and just loved being outdoors. I mean, many of us grew up where we were just running around outdoors, and because of recent developments, stranger danger, playgrounds which have become kind of plastic and hermetically sealed, it seems that kids are just not kind of out in the woods as much as they used to be, even in a rural area like this. And so the idea of somehow reintroducing this fascinated me. And what I learned from the training and all the people that we met in the UK that were doing this was that it really helped a whole variety of different health issues, physical, but also mental health. So if you had children with learning difficulties, they might be anxious. They might be anxious about math, for example. And somehow being outside distracted them enough to be fascinated by the worm that they just saw or the bird in the tree, that they would forget that they were doing math and have fun instead. And all the kids report that we're just outside having fun. This isn't learning. And yet they are actually learning extremely well. So it reduces anxiety, increases motivation. And things like ADHD has also been proven to be reduced. It's to help autism and other things as well, because the kids are just using a different part of their brain. They're calming down. They're not quite as kind of stressed as they are in the classroom. They don't feel as if they have to perform. They're literally just having fun. And the learning is just sneakily on the side of it. So it has some surprising side effects.
Could you highlight ideas for parents and educators to use while learning from home to get more connected to outside?
Yeah, sure. So in the early part of last year, when we first had our lockdown for COVID, I was experimenting with what it was like to be a parent, which I am, and a teacher. But also, a parent who was trying to help my child remote school. And so I had this idea to try to see how much of the school curriculum we could do outside. And a lot of the work that I do with the teachers is to try and help them understand how to bring the curriculum outside, how to teach everything, not just plant ecology and biology and the things that make sense, but physics and maths and chemistry and poetry and everything can be taught outside and can be enhanced as well. And so we were doing this not from the perspective of being in a classroom, but from the perspective of just one-to-one at home, a parent and a child. But essentially, there are many different fun things that you can do to try to motivate your child. So even just going online and searching forest school is a good term to use, forest school, and then learning math, or forest school and learning 3-digit addition. And you'd be surprised what pops up. And you can go outside with sticks and stones and do a place value chart. And suddenly what seemed awful, trying to get the kid to move the one over, or trying to work out how you turn thousands into hundreds, suddenly becomes a really fun thing with sticks and stones outside and the sun's shining and the dog's running around. And so, yeah, I would just recommend parents sharing ideas. I've joined a lot of Facebook sites, forest school ideas. And honestly, people just put onto those Facebook sites things like, okay, so I want to motivate my child who happens to really love, boats or airplanes, whatever it is. What can I do outside in the forest? And then there'll be a stream of ideas that come on. Well, you can build this out of sticks, and you can have a boat race, and you can do this. So I would totally recommend just using what's out there, getting ideas, sharing them. And of course, people can contact us for ideas too. We're always willing to spend ages talking about this stuff.